Oh, hello there.
Hello.
Didn't see you.
I saw you. I rolled 19 on perception.
Depends on how you roll. We're going to be doing a little debriefy after a number of these episodes. Maybe not every episode, but we'd like to talk a little bit about pull the curtain back and chat. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of open it up. This is our kind of first foray into a world that we spent a lot of time going into. Drakewind Falls is something that we all industriously explored during Extra Life, where these four lovelies, as well as our friend Colin, made characters with the new Drakewind Ranger subclass from Fizbin's Guide to Dragons.
What?
And then
No,
we went and created a world. Hi, Antagonizer! Hi, Doc! Hi!
What do you need?
Went through and developed a world, a setting from that, building on some of the Drakewind Falls lore, as well as folding in previous characters, NPCs that we've loved, a little session zero fun in the guise of a tour led by alumni and all around bon vivant Highland. Yeah, so this is where it is. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about the first session and also talk a little bit about Microscope, answer any questions folks might have in the chat, and yeah, look forward to 2 weeks from now. So,
for our friends at home, and additionally just for personal knowledge, how long have we been microscoping in total?
It's been 3 years.
84 years.
I was young when we started.
Yeah, we basically started just after the first of the year, so about a month. Microscope is a game that focuses on kind of world building, and it can be played as an RPG. The information's down there. It's created by Ben Robbins. He's also created kind of subsets and expansions to it that focus on everything from kind of relationships and families to building out kingdoms, as well as having kind of variations on the game. But essentially, it creates a series of lenses which are topical based, and then each of the players creates an event, a period, or a scene from a kind of shared history that's populated by everybody. And so we've gone through 4 rounds of it, 4 full-ass rounds of it, developing everything from kind of great characters and kind of magical items and artifacts in history to the flora and fauna of the world, to the kind of geography and geology and everything else. So yeah, for everybody at home, it's been quite a wild ride. We'll be putting some of that information up in the kind of shared history on Drakewind.academy, which is not only the official website of Drakewind Academy, where you can go to spread your wings and soar and become a Drake today, but also where we'll be having kind of a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of in-world history of Drakewind Falls and the continent that the falls lay on, where the characters are kind of from all over the place. So
yeah, I think Microscope does a good job of disproving the naysayers who claim that spreadsheets can't be fun.
Yeah, and thank you to our ringer for keeping us going on that. Hey, it's a spreadsheet maniac, ladies and gentlemen.
True story. There was at least 3 separate occasions where I would be like, Nate, please fix. I broke Google Sheets again.
It was always okay.
So yeah, for our first foray into Drakewind, I thought maybe we could each go around and share kind of either a favorite kind of moment of their own character or something kind of interaction that they thought was fun. Something about the game, something about the kind of play style, or something about kind of the kind of what ended up getting us here, and how that played out.
I think it was the way you kind of set things up, and we kind of explored the city, and kind of the whole environment was addressed, people moving around, moving through the space. I think was an awesome start. It was way more compelling than you all happen to be in the same bar.
I think that one of the things that's amazing about playing Microscope is everybody kind of populated it with seeds for their own character, and so it was really, really easy for me to be able to think about the kind of huge list of locations that you all created in the falls to be able to create some moments. I mean, from backstories that y'all provided to just the kind of places like the beacon, which was such a great kind of riff on the idea that without this this kind of physical artifact to keep the falls safe, like what was going to keep the falls safe is this camaraderie and this like place to gather. And I love that Highland is just like this total like embodiment to that in this kind of fun, maybe slightly preposterous way. It's just like really a kind of lovely kind of setting to be able to play around in, and I'm really excited about wrapping my head around it. I think one of the things that's been challenging about Microscope is there's so much to draw on, but kind of like what a embarrassment of riches for me as a DM to be able to tie to each of you, and I think rather than starting a campaign like you were saying, Joel, with just like you meet in a bar, it just happens to be this bar, and you've all ended up here because it is the bar that people go to for things.
There's only one in town.
Yeah. But the fact that it can be populated with Ferdinand Moody, one of my favorite player characters I've ever DM'd for, albeit brief, it was kind of so lovely to have him back, and I will endeavor to be better at affecting the accent that Warrior affects of Moody in the future.
It's just it's just like 3 octaves lower than Highland. That's the voice.
And it's so refreshing that you continue to refer to him as a Minotaur, even though he's human.
He's a Minotaur in this universe.
Yeah. I feel like that's insider baseball, but that's my favorite.
You'd feel correct.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that he owns a business now and he can both hire and fire people for real.
Real world skills.
Yep. That's a good inside joke, because in the Saturday game we had offline prior to Drakewind Falls, Ferdinand Moody was my player character, and he got us through what was the name of the castle? Craigmaw Castle in the old Fandelver adventure by firing the entire kitchen staff and every other foe he could find.
Every guard we met.
It was a very non-violent. I guess it was economically violent, but it was physically non-violent.
Yeah,
that's the good stuff. Ryan, do you have? I mean, is there kind of moments or kind of being able to revisit Moody or kind of embody Highland in this first one that kind of stuck with you, or any kind of any things that you kind of point to from the session that lit a spark that you want to kind of dig into moving forward?
I don't know. I mean, Highland's a hoot to play. I love playing Highland. He's very easy to slip into, and he's very mercurial and capricious. So it's fun to be able to jump around and riff off of people and things and ideas and sentences. I really enjoyed the first sort of collective moment of making sure that Horton made it through the assembly without embarrassing himself. Making sure he had a good time, making sure he was anchored to the ground. All of that was very fun. It was a very fun group moment that was like also a little touching and also a little stupid, which is kind of where I like it. That's where I like my D&D.
That's our wheelhouse.
It is our wheelhouse for sure. A little stupid.
Where we hang out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that was a favorite moment of mine for sure. I also really enjoyed that you fell for. I have 3 cases.
I mean, I
100 cases. You're like, I'll wheel you down to 10. He's like, I have 3.
I rolled a bit as I was going through Moody, just knowing him a little bit from previous campaigns, and just like how good natured he is. I mean, I love that. I love that without knowing Moody, Christy poured that Genensis in the plant, but like plants are Moody's jam. It was such a. I mean, it was to be able to inhabit one of y'all's characters is like such a treat, because I think that all 4 of you, and one of the reasons why we're really keen to play a little bit together in general, kind of coming from Extra Life, was the opportunity to like play together, which we've never done like in this assemblage of the 5 of us outside of Extra Life. I don't think that we've ever kind of been in a kind of campaign in any kind of fashion. So it's always kind of a little bit humbling and frightening as a DM to try to inhabit other people's characters. But all of the ones that have been written in and the ones that we haven't met yet that are part of the world as a result of that, I'm super, super excited about. Yeah. I don't know, Horton, how did you feel about how things went?
Oh, I think things went well. I mean, I roll 1s regularly.
First roll, baby.
Yeah, this one I was very happy about. So I'm glad I did not use my inspiration to change that. It was a good moment.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we talked about too that I really appreciate when we were, one of the things that's really unique about Microscope in general is that it forces you as a group to make a palette of things that you want in the world and things that you don't want in the world. And one of the things that I thought was great, maybe it was Ryan that came up with it, was really ensuring that critical successes were treated with the same kind of robustness that critical failures were. That they weren't just kind of a like, oh, you're F, screw you, here's this bad shit that happens, moving on. It really inspired me, I think, to dig in and look at good kind of game runners that did that in a more robust manner, and having one of the golden 2 in terms of rolling 1s with Nate and Gene, the namesake of Gene Larry, in my mind. It's lovely to have all the critical ones. Like I'm so happy to have such poor rollers as part of this crew. It's a bit of a treat.
I'm glad I can help.
I'll point out that it was predicted regularly in our pre-session chats that I would carry the group with my rolls, and I want to point out that my rolls have been technically perfect so far. So not one bad roll yet. So I'll roll a dice next time probably, but perfect.
I mean,
perfection.
Speaking of the other side of the dice, Christy,
Yes.
how was the session for you? How are you enjoying inhabiting Fern?
I think it was good. I mean, the interesting thing about Fern in portraying her is she is still like very much figuring out what her deal is. So it's a little bit, she's at that kind of point where she is trying to figure out what she's about just as much as I'm trying to figure out what she's about. Which is always just interesting from like a role play perspective, and how that, because like honestly, she like, my playing her is what's going to develop her character, which is always really intriguing when you go into a character who's at that point, because you're like, honestly, like what happens to her in game is what's going to kind of shape her worldview from where she is now, because she's left home and she's good with that. Like she's ready to get out into the world. And so honestly, like her experiences like in this world and with this party are what's going to kind of shape her as a character in whole. And that's kind of always simultaneously very exciting and very terrifying to play.
How do you think the relationships played out in the first one? You know, I know that, I mean, so one of the things that that we didn't really mention kind of from the outset, but I tried to drop as many you know, kind of inside jokes as possible, is we did play a 0 session. We tried out some combat together. Well, not a whole lot.
Not really.
No.
I mean, there was potential, and I think that that's one of the beautiful things about this group.
If my falling on top of Becker counts as combat, we did that.
Does it?
Oh.
But I mean, to me, like dropping hints about that. I mean, after kind of the 0 session, we were all kind of like, ah, shit, I wish we would have recorded that, because it's really fun.
It was really good.
It was amazing. You know, I mean,
It was
always be recording, but
well, and that's where the like joke about like how people should be charging for tours comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Highland, can you talk a little bit about Highland's tours of the surrounding areas to clue in those who watch?
Yeah, so Highland is an alumnus of Drakewind Academy. He's been out for a few years, sort of spinning his wheels since then, but he gets invited back regularly. He was sort of the big Minotaur on campus when he was a student there, very, very well known, very popular. So he comes back, gives sort of guest lectures on student life, how to put yourself out there, how to break out of your comfort zone, that sort of thing. And he also leads, you know, he on the side leads some tours to, you know, the cool spots that they don't tell you about in the brochures. So we took him to one of those places, and they had a time. It was fine.
It was fine.
You know, the last time he did the tour, it had not been taken over by ogres, and you know, it's not really something you get an inter-office memo about. Particularly when you live above a bar. So, you know, like, but everyone was fine. There was no combat. There were some frightening moments, but we all pushed through. We came out stronger. We saved a registrar. Like
Future registrar. I mean, he wasn't even a registrar. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
You maybe helped him find his calling, which is
sure.
Great. I mean,
yeah, he's like, I need the most boring job I can possibly have after all of that. I will work in registration.
Beauty. And so, yeah, I mean, so the final member of our adventuring party, the illustrious and hunky Becker Stokes. This is a very different character than I've played with Joel before, which makes me super interested in like how you like feel about playing like a much different role maybe in the party.
Right now it's confusing because his voice in my head is thick Scottish brogue, which I can't. I don't have that skill set. And if I do, it's for like a word, and it's not sustainable.
That's right.
You can't. You got a canay. I can't do it. Just go for it. My brother did it in the Thinvale campaign, and it was terrible. Nate can attest, but it was just like he was like, "I'm going to be Billy Connolly, and I'm just going to go hard."
I think it would be like playing Tibbles, but less charming.
Dude, yes.
Where it would occasionally become Germanic or something weird.
That happens.
So whenever he speaks, I'm like, nope, that's not right.
From now on, when we do our circuits, I want you to do it in your Tibbles voice. We've got the 1 minute left. It's all we've got. We've got to do shoulder presses. Shoulders.
We will start in the minutes.
That's German.
That was
close enough to Scottish.
Are we in the Highlands right now? This feels like home.
I mean,
I want to go put on a kilt.
Tibbles was full on, just undefinable accent. But I don't want to anger any Scots. I feel like that would be a bad move.
So yeah, I mean, how is the group dynamic for everybody? I mean, I think that one of the things that's interesting. I know that I'm sorting you around. Why am I doing this? Why am I like this?
You're drunk with power.
I am. I'm drunk with power.
You've had
too much genesis.
You've had a couple of thimbles. You've been...
I mean, how was it? I know that we played the Zero session, but did today feel different? Do you feel different about the characters at all? Is there anything that kind of popped out to you, like during the session that that was particularly like, oh, like I get a little bit more of Horton or Becker or Fern or Highland, like when you were interacting with each other or like other people?
Yeah, I think. For Becker, at least, in our Zero run, I felt like Becker and Highland were going to be a bit antagonistic towards each other. And I think in this one, it kind of hit more like Becker's all for going out and having a number of stiff drinks and perhaps getting in a tussle and being kind of like, oh, you think that's a good idea? Please, go ahead. I'd love to see you do this. And tonight was the first time that I was like, oh, I think Becker and Highland will probably end up getting on like a house on fire. Like
Highland?
Yeah, I also think we'll be a flaming house. I think Highland gets along with everybody. That's like his vibe. Like even if like someone thought that they had an antagonistic relationship, like he wouldn't think that they do. Like, and he'd just be like, I don't know, you felt kind of prickly today. Do you need like a mug or something? I don't know. Like help me help you.
Here, try this Highland. Try this Highland.
Just we're cool, we're fine. I'll cast Combo Motions and we'll be great. Like no, I don't think it occurs to Highland that he wouldn't get along with people. Like, but I think they'll get along. I think like it was interesting this time because in the Zero session we spent the whole time like together as a group. We were like all like kind of immediately there. And so, like, I'm excited to get back to, like, the group to see how the group dynamic, like, shifts when different things are happening, because we kind of, it's also interesting because in the Zero session, we very much drove, right? Like, it was sort of a dungeon crawly kind of thing. And, here, from how it seems when we rejoin our intrepid heroes, things will be happening at us. So like that'll be an interesting dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant to be too heavy-handed, but I wanted to make sure that we had some sort of narrative at the beginning about the history, just because it felt like we'd all invested so much time and energy into like 5 centuries of history that that the payout of that should be some sort of narrative that's shared, and I hope that that everybody felt like they had their contributions heard in the kind of preamble. But yeah, there was a lot that kind of happened to y'all in this one, and I did a little bit more driving than I typically would like to be doing. I'm much more a kind of game runner as facilitator than I don't know, dictator. At least I hope so. I don't know if I'm actually like that. Maybe I'm not, but I hope that it's more on your shoulders than my shoulders, and I'm like just kind of improvising to respond to what y'all are interested in kind of talking about. But I want to make sure that that we can kind of circle back to Christy and Nate for kind of moments or kind of opportunities that seemed kind of present to you in kind of recognizing something in your character, or I love Joel. I love your comment about just about like thinking that it might be a kind of a different relationship with Highland based on the Zero session versus this session, kind of like getting to hear a little bit more about the different characters. So I don't know, Nate or Christy or anybody really, were there any kind of interactions with characters you're like, oh, maybe that's not how I thought it was when we were kind of all roaming around on our 10 silver tour?
I honestly think, to Ryan's point, like, we haven't had enough time together just to like really formulate those opinions in full, because we kind of know like the general vibe of each of our characters, both from like the microscope work that we've done and the character backgrounds and the brief interactions that we've had. But like outside from that, I don't know that I've developed any like really strong attachments or strong dislikes of anybody because I haven't had the time with them, other than the fact that I have like hella mother hen energy for Horton, and I think it's just because he's so cute. Like I just like I feel like I need to protect him because he's just like in his little vest, his little scarf, like look
he
at
needs
that.
protecting because he has 30 hit points.
He's precious. That's not all that many, like all that fewer than I have, but fine.
And also, by the way, the two sketches I did show today, I didn't show kind of anything else because they weren't. I hope this is not overstepping, but this is Joel's work as always. Creating beautiful things. The background is also really, kind of beautiful ideas about the fjords, kind of west of Drakewind Falls, or maybe even the base of Drakewind Falls. Where our mammoths came and joined us. So I want to give props where props are due. Joel does amazing work, and it's so awesome to see these characters come to life from an amount of time together, but not like an incredible amount of time together. It's really lovely to kind of let your mind loose in our world and not kind of constrain too much, kind of what people look like outside of basic things, because I think that some of the imagery that you've come up with, not just for this game, but in general, is really impressive. And I hope that we'll be able to kind of share more of some of the sketches that were kind of like foundational to how I thought about it. As a DM, I always try to do a lot of image searches or draw on my architecture background to kind of bring forth I have folders on folders of what I think some of these places look like, but it's really nice to have some kind of experience in visualizing that in a certain way. And I don't know, I mean, Joel, I mean, what did you think about that in general? I mean, what did some of the imagery evoke for you in this? Was there anything that you were like, oh, that's how I thought it would be, or like what the F is he doing right now?
Uh, first off, thank you. I appreciate that people like it. I'm glad that you guys get a kick out of it. For me, when they popped up, like the drawing of Horton, I'm kind of okay with because it was like the black and white and it kind of looks polished and finished. When you put up Highland, it was a little cringy for me because I was just like, it's unfinished. But it's more of like, yeah, I think for me with my art, it's always a little cringy, but I'm glad that people enjoy it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's always kind of inspiring, like the, I mean, like I still have like the Kletos drawing. I think it's still the background on my phone, but but it was really interesting with, because when the Kletos drawing was made, that was like well into Tasty Boys, and so there were like, a lot of ideas were really like, formed already, but like having so newly inhabited Highland, like the physicality in that drawing, kind of like influenced for me his vibe a little bit. Like he is, it is. It looks nice.
I tried doing the uncolored version just to see the response, but Joel's still like.
This hits better than the flat color one for me.
But like I love I don't know, like I like the way his hands look a lot in that. But he's kind of like this, sort of like dad bod, which was definitely like kind of how I imagined him, just very like sort of dad bod, but like, like these big hands, and then like just kind of the way his expression, the way he's like holding himself, like I get a sort of Big Lebowski vibe, like, which I think is probably very Highland, and it's kind of working on like incorporating like aspects of that and like how that sort of blends with who he is. But like it's really inspirational to like take a look and like kind of go back and revisit it as a sort of like, especially with like physicality, because like I think particularly when we're playing like theater of the mind, like having a clear mental picture is helpful. And I think for me, when I'm trying to inhabit a character more than sort of like be me with like a character sheet, like when I'm trying to like inhabit a character, like that physicality, being able to like imagine that and sort of like how they're moving or how they're reacting is like super helpful. So it's awesome. I really appreciate it. They're like, obviously they're like extraordinary drawings in and of themselves, regardless of any other benefits, but like that additional level of like inspiration to draw from is super great.
Well, it's fun for me to get like to have that shared inspiration with people, and like even because I mean the first drawing of Highland was the kilt wearing Minotaur.
I really like that drawing.
And for those who did not have the
I was like, I should play that guy.
I basically posted, I was like, I think this is Highland. And Ryan was like, that is almost exactly like him, except that's not his posture or his clothes or his demeanor or... And I was like, oh, that's just not Highland. Okay. And even when the bathrobe started coming out, I would pick up things that got put in our microscope spreadsheet that would have like, oh, he's wearing the sending stone that was a gift from da-da-da-da. And you're like, that's weird. That's not in that drawing anywhere. Oh, I should go in and I need to add that. Or, little touches that kind of hit and allow you to build more into that character or that setting. Yeah, there's Highland.
Yeah.
That was Highland V1.
That guy is the like, the Robert Frost, like that's the road more traveled. Yeah. Like Highland is the road less traveled. Like just
looks like what
at a fork in the road. You know?
It's just like him, except none of what's there. Cut off one horn. We need to get, and it's.
I mean, look at that guy. Who wouldn't want to play? Who wouldn't want to play that guy?
That's true. If Highland had a brother.
Is terrific.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with Fern.
Yeah. It's like
it happened with Horton.
Yeah,
where
it's
it
like
oh, this is what they're like, and then you get like, you start picking up little details. So you're like, oh, that's not what they're like. That initial drawing isn't Fern. She'd be more like this, and her hair would be shaped more like this, and partway through just being like, I'm pretty sure Horton was a Cub Scout and would still have like merit badges sewn on to his wizard's cloak.
Hey man, that's achievements.
I'm just gonna put him in.
I think rolling with all of those things, kind of like our perception of who our characters or characters in this world are, is such an interesting conversation, seeing as how we've spent so much time in the kind of history of the world, but like inhabiting the kind of characters of the here and now is such a recent development that in some ways we can kind of anticipate who they are and how they might react, but the kind of loveliness of the kind of realization that you had, Joel, about Becker and Highland and how they might be antagonistic but actually might be kind of fraternal in some way is really nice. It's those kind of
they'll get kind of bro-y.
Yeah, and that doesn't have to be kind of negative or positive, but it can kind of play out in a way that might not have been anticipated. There's something lovely about role playing and like not knowing exactly who you are at the beginning. It was so like the moment when Fern like kind of beat Becker to the punch in caring for Horton was so wholesome and not unexpected given who you are as people, or even your characters, but the kind of fact
He's a sweet baby that needs to be protected.
The fact you both had the inclination towards it in different fashions is one of the reasons why I was like, man, when we played Extra Life, I know Colin has so much going on that it would be really challenging to kind of have a regular game with all six of us, but the fact that we could get the four of you, I mean, all kind of modesty aside, it's really nice to have a kind of like all-star group. I think it's rare, because this is going to be only the second time I've ever DM'd an ongoing. It just so happened that my first ongoing campaign lasted 3.5 years. I mean, I was not anticipated, and I was even supposed to be like the primary DM. There was supposed to be this kind of like shared experience, but it ended up, kind of becoming something different. And I was really happy to go on that journey, kind of with Nate the entire like every single episode. But adding Ryan and having Joel pop in and out, and then being able to come back to us and really solidify that group with Oren and Dan was such a treat, that it was really nice to kind of set that as a weight aside and jump in and create a new world with adding the lovely Christy, who I really enjoy, kind of having played games with or having her run games. If you've never experienced a game with Christy as your DM or GM, go back, check out twitch.tv/KnownWorldUnited. Holy crap. If you do not enjoy the hell out of every single session she ran, you don't enjoy role playing, because it was fudging great.
I also really love the formation of this group. Like, you were talking, like, I think we were like Facebook messaging back and forth about like playing more D&D and what you wanted to run, and like that we really like this session, and that like we really like playing with these people. And I think you were like, what if I ran more Drakewind, or what if I ran more, is it called, yes, it's called Drakewind. I was like, what? I was like, wait, is that a name we made up? Is it a name we made up? I was like, what? You were like, what if we ran more Drakewind, and like, would you be interested in playing? And I was like, yes. And then he was like, well, what if we do like the extra? And I was like, yes. And then within like literally 2 hours, he was like, this is what we're doing. I was like, okay. So we're all equally on board with this plan.
It's such a rare opportunity to like hit on something that I'm like, these are all the things I like about both role-playing games and like fantasy in general. Like, I'm a big like weird Arthurian person, so dragons and fantasy is like, but I also as Ryan said, sweet. You know, as Ryan said, there's something really like beautiful and robust about the interactions that we've all had, and some of those kind of like unexpected confluences and congruencies that just like happen super organically. And I think the Dying Embers of Drakewind Falls for Extra Life, if you haven't checked it out, go to twitch.tv// Known World United. Peep it, it's so good. It was one of those moments where it's like, oh, this is the jam. Like, both like wow, and also like that sweet, slow cooking like ichor of all of the flavors and like spices and nuances that you're like, I'm gonna spread that on a piece of toast, and I ain't putting a thin layer. No, I'm gonna glob it on. I'm gonna enjoy every last morsel. Which also, saying that makes me really miss Thurston.
Thurston.
Oh, Thurston. Maybe he could have a place in this world.
He sure could.
He could do something.
I just looked back at the Facebook message, and November 22nd, we were talking, and I was like, what do you want to run, James? And he goes, Drakewind Falls, Strixhaven, Star Wars. The question is, I don't know what I want to play / run. And I said, I propose you run Drakewind for me, Nate, Ryan, and Joel.
The rest is history.
Then he gave me a heart, and then I think like 2 hours later, the Drakewind
I sent a message out to everyone. I was like, we're doing this.
That's awesome. I love that. On the subject of perfect dice rolling, since I didn't roll any dice during the session, I rolled a test fireball just for fun. 34 points of damage, so you're in good hands. Clearly.
Yeah, as long as Horton is not anywhere near that.
I wouldn't do that.
No, I will protect you, sweet baby.
I wouldn't do that to you, brother. I wouldn't.
Does everybody have their new dice, their character dice? Can we share?
I put mine out on social media because I'm a dick. But I've got 3. Let me grab.
I think this is called
Dragon's Egg. This is my Fern set that is actually named
Kraken dice.
Fern. Yeah.
Christy suggested.
I've got two Kraken dice here. So it's a set. It's a blend of 3. So it's these 2. This was a fun. The blue one was a fun mystery set that I don't know the name of. This red one.
Did you all get the blue mystery set?
And then I
think so.
Nice.
Similar. And then Antimatter is the other one. And then these ones, which are my favorite, and it's nice because it ended up being kind of a mix of the two, is from Lindorm Dice. It's just called Lindorm.
They're good too. Super
nice. They're smaller, which is interesting, but still nice. Yeah. Size doesn't matter.
Not a damn bit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, any other things that folks want to share? Joel, I just realized you're wearing an Aquabat shirt, and I can't believe I didn't notice that earlier. And from a Bat Commander, baby.
It's fine. I mean, the easily recognizable part gets cut off.
It's true.
I think I only saw like the little strip on the top and didn't realize it was Aquabats, which is like is stupid. Nate and I did. We went to the same high school, but we didn't really know each other in high school. But we both know Adam Engdahl, who is a huge Aquabats fan. My brother, who's a huge Aquabats fan, and we went to a lot of Aquabats concerts when I was in high school and in college. And so I'm embarrassed to say that I just realized you were wearing that, and I'm so proud to know and love you.
To circle back, did we ever get a Horton favorite moment?
No, we didn't. Horton. Wait, did we get a we need a Horton favorite moment. We also need I know that you enjoyed helping Horton, but we also want to circle back to a Christy favorite moment. Nate, Horton.
I mean, it had to be the natural one, and then just all the love afterwards. It's great.
I love how you guys came together. Like it was like Nate nated it, and then you were all like, "Oh, Horton, here, let us love you."
Behind the scenes, I was like looking through prestidigitation, like, can I make like a little piece of string and like tie it to his foot or something?
You got the
And then right as I was like, I think I can, and then it was like the scarf thing, and I was like, that's perfect. I'll just refill his thimble.
Which that's in my inventory.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, you'll notice that like Highland's mug, like it doesn't ever really go down. Like it's just an ever filling mug of mildly intoxicating tea. But I like that we're the most wholesome actual play revolving mildly around a loosely intoxicating tea.
It's lovely, man. It's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it's like Narcos, but like, you know,
like Narcos. Exactly like Narcos.
But like the other side, like while all the Narcos stuff is going on over here.
And Chrissy, did you? I mean, you talked a little bit about that. Was there like a Fern moment that you felt was really?
I liked helping Horton. I also enjoyed just Fern's interaction with Professor Lanny because he's just fucking ridiculous. I don't know you.
I love how all of you have populated this world with so many NPCs that I can have ridiculous voices for. It makes me super happy.
There's so many.
Like I love that Professor Chu is like this. Like he loves Highland. He loves Magic Beasts. He just loves life, and also he's not afraid to like just pull an Xbox and rip ass all over Drakewind. I love this setting, and I want to say kind of like as we're kind of nearing the kind of wrap up for this, and I'm super happy that we spent the time to do Microscope. I'm really appreciative that you all jumped in the deep end and kind of went through and populated this world. Please stay tuned to our Twitch and our Twitters, both for Known World Unite and Drakewind. If you haven't checked it out, I had this weird idea about like rather than talking about like the campaign, talking about Drakewind Academy as this kind of school / weird collegiate marketing campaign. So embrace the weirdness. Check out Drakewind.academy. We're going to be putting a faculty directory. We'll put students on there. There'll be kind of features on each of the players so that we can kind of get to know them more often. If you haven't checked out Microscope and all of the other games, Kingdom, please go check it out. It's like the most lovely thing in the world. Yeah, we'll be here, every other Saturday. We'll be back again here in 2 weeks on the 19th for the outcomes of what these 4 intrepid adventurers will find themselves doing when when face to face with the kind of council of elders here at Drakewind Academy. So without further ado, I think maybe a little sign off from everybody and where people can find you. Starting with Nate.
That's right. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at CubeloZombie. You can find me in 2 Mondays on this channel for a little Down and Outlands where we play a bunch of shitty little kids.
Yeah, they are shitty.
We're nice kids.
Now we're great.
Christy.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Lady Christy, CHRSTY, and on Instagram at Lady Christy K, because there's already a Lady Christy.
How dare she?
I'm gonna find her and fight her Highlander style.
I kind of wish that that you had taken your husband's name and you were Lady Christy Antagonizer.
I kept telling Zach that we should combine our last names because my maiden last name is Kegger. So I told him that we should combine them. We could be Schwarzenegger, but he didn't think that was a good idea.
That is a great idea. You should,
right?
Yep.
You can do that now. You can change your name anytime.
Just do it now.
You're adults.
It's true.
Speaking of amazing ideas, oh hey, it's me.
Wait, I already went.
It already went.
Nate again.
I want you again, Nate. I need you for this. Speaking of amazing art, broken segue.
We're so good at StreamYard.
Too much herbal tea, y'all. I got the Genensis going on.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, all under @fingertwitchings. I don't get TikTok, but I have a presence there.
You're actually still Joel A. Vollmer on Twitter.
No, but if you do @fingertwitchings on Twitter, you'll still find me.
Really?
It actually works. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Fancy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch to role because my embarrassment is too much.
Hi. Hello. This is great. I like this new format where Nate goes first and talks about the other show I'm on, and then there's a little blurb at the bottom that says where to find me. So I guess I'll go fuck myself.
Oh. I'm
just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, find me every other Monday along with Nate, Cassandra, and Shannon on Down and Outlands. We play children who have been branded as shitty but generally aren't, except for Twig, who has to swap the poop deck all the time. So there's an allegory there. And then find me on the socials at WarriorMN. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I have a Twitch channel that I rarely use, and I have a TikTok. I have TikToks, and they're orange and they're delicious. And I have a TikTok that I've used once, so you can find me there.
Nailed
Is that
it.
Good?
And hey, I'm James. I'm Beard. What I'd really love to plug is Ben Robbins and everything that Lame Mage makes. Check him out, lamemage.com. I am in absolute love with the entire system. I would fight Horton for the honor of this. That's how much I love it, and I don't ever want to lay a beautiful feather on that poor Hoot Hoot's head. But you can find us here every other Saturday. We'll be back on the 19th of February, and also, hey, we've got that beautiful thing going on with February and March this year. We'll be back the 19th of February, and then the 5th of March, and then the 19th of March. And you can find us here ad infinitum, checking out and exploring the world of Drakewind Falls. So welcome to Drakewind Falls. We're happy to have you and excited to have you back in 2 weeks as we wrap up. Thanks to Shaggy in the chat. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful Evil Uno avatar. I had to recognize it, and not too shabby. So check us out on the socials. You can find us. You can find us at Known World Unite. You can also check us out at Drakewind, where we'll be posting more Academy-based memes, recruitment and other things. And until next time, thanks for dropping by, and have a wonderful night.
Do it.